And that's the end of that. Phew, I'm spent. Oh, there better be a long, slow soak at the hot springs in my future. So long, everybody! Well, that's all I got. And now I'm out of here because Pumbaa's collecting sun-dried grubs for dinner. See you around. Okay, everybody, repeat after me. Hakuna Matata. That's my motto. It means no worries. Feel free to use it if you don't do too well in this round. All right, anyway, on with the questions. Hey, everybody! Great to be here. Actually, since I was just being chased by a hyena, it's great to be anywhere. But seriously, a few of you in the audience look a little hungry. So, why don't I just move on to the questions? Birds fly, right? Not so fast. Some of them don't. So who's lacking in the flying department? Which of these guys can run the fastest? I knew I liked these guys for a reason. Who is the only natural predator of the hyena? Whose babies are called chicks? When they're babies, who's called a foal? Whose kids are called calves? Whose little ones are called cubs? Who lives in clans and hunts guys like me in packs? A whole tree full of these is called a tribe. Who am I talking about? When a bunch of these guys get together, it's called a herd. Who is it? Who lives together in a pride? Who's been known to get scared and start a stampede? Which of these guys is at the top of the food chain? Who has a pair of tusks? Which of these guys can fly? Who has a mane? Now, which of these guys can use their jaws to carry things that weigh 5 times more than they do? Sheesh! Hey! Who's famous for sounding like they're laughing? Of everybody in the Pride Lands, who weighs the most? Which one of these guys has the longest neck? So, which one of these guys doesn't live in the Pride Lands? What's black and white and red all over? A zebra with a sunburn! I killed myself! But seriously, what kind of tracks would a zebra leave? Say you're a giraffe. I know, just go with me here. What kind of tracks would you leave in the mud? If I wanted to find an elephant, for some heavy lifting, what kind of tracks would I look for? So down at the waterhole, everyone's always leaving tracks in the mud. Which of these tracks were left by a lion? Who was Scar's only nephew? Who did Zazu call slobbering, mangy, stupid poachers? Who did little Simba practice pouncing on? Who was in charge of the hunting party that Scar sent out for food? When Simba was a cub, who used to give him a bath? Who fought with Simba on Pride Rock?
Put these shapes in order by number of corners, starting with the most.
After he stole the kingdom, who did Scar keep locked up in a cage? Who made a big mistake when they called Pumbaa a pig? Who once told Simba that the great kings of the past live in the stars? Who invaded our jungle and busted up the great bachelor thing Pumbaa, Simba, and I had going? When Pumbaa and I went bowling for buzzards, who did we find? Who's my very best buddy? After Simba passed out in the hot sun, who carried him to the oasis? Who escaped some crazy hyenas by running through a briar patch? Who told Simba he was gonna get a surprise to die for? The only good thing those hyenas ever did was get rid of this guy. Who was it?
Put these sports in order of how many players play at a time, starting with the most.
Who joined Zazu in a cage to escape from the hyenas? When Simba first returned to Pride Rock, who did Scar think he was? When Pumbaa and I distracted the hyenas, what was Pumbaa holding in his mouth? Who told me and Pumbaa that our buddy Simba was actually a king? Who told Pumbaa and me that Simba went back to Pride Rock? When he was young, who was an outcast because of his, let's say, personalized aroma? Who did Simba tell to run away and never return? Who once tried cooking Zazu in a birdie boiler? Who taught Simba about pouncing? When Zazu went to find out why Scar wasn't at Simba's presentation, what was Scar about to eat?
Put these sports in order of how many players play at a time, starting with the least.
What goody two-feet gets up early to give the king his morning report about the kingdom? Who fought the hyenas with a stick and some hi-ya type moves? Who did Scar used to call the little hairball? Who brought news from the underground after Zazu finished his morning report? Who's the dodo that Simba and Nala once tried to ditch? Who was betrothed to Simba from the time they were cubs? Poor guy. What do me and Pumbaa love to eat? Who let the hyenas take over the Pride Lands? When Simba was a cub, who'd he call Banana Beak? Right before that horrible stampede, what was little Simba practicing his roar on? Which of these is Rafiki? You know, the guy who keeps saying it's time for something? Which of these is the king's major domo, Zazu? Which of these is my best buddy, Pumbaa? Which of these lions was Scar, King Mufasa's lion stinking brother? When Simba was a baby, who presented him to the animals of the Pride Lands? So who figured out Simba was still alive just by looking at a bunch of leaves and feathers. Hey, who got stuck under a tree root when he was running away from Nala? Who once saved little Simba from a bunch of vultures back when they were cubs? Who rescued Simba and Nala from some stinking scavenging hyenas? When Simba was a kid, who told him his kingdom would be everything the light touches? What color was Scar's beady evil eyes? Who did Zazu once say would make a very handsome throw rug? Who lives in that creepy elephant graveyard? Who thinks those fireflies stuck up in the night sky are really balls of gas burning billions of miles away? There's a song called Hakuna Matata. You might have heard it. Who sang it? That first day we met her, what was Pumbaa stalking while Nala was stalking him? When Pumbaa and me first met Simba, he was starving. What was the one thing he didn't ask to eat? Who was once captured by that good-for-nothing Scar? Right before Simba just up and left the jungle, who did he say talked to him from up in the sky? In a subtle move of self-preservation, who used to file down Simba's claws? In an understatement of elephant-sized proportions, who once accused Scar of being weird? Simba told me that he and Nala once hopped a ride with a couple of neighbors from the Pride Lands. And who might that have been? Oh, this one kills me. I wish I could have been there. Anyway, after little Simba finished singing about how much he wanted to be king, who sat right on top of Zazu? When Simba and Nala were cubs, who did they like making faces at? Who said, "What do you want me to do? Dress and drag and do the hula?" Who acted, brilliantly I might say, as live bait to distract some hyenas? Who did we find out really killed King Mufasa? Pumbaa's kind of known for his, aroma. In fact, he once knocked some guys clear out of the trees by walking by. Who were they? Who put his past behind him after something bad happened to his dad, Mufasa?